Many traders struggle to achieve success but aren't putting in the effort required to reach it. They wonder why they are not experiencing the freedom and perks they expected, and frustration sets in. The truth is, consistent success in trading demands more than just making trades. It requires ongoing effort, dedication, and, of course, emotional resilience. If you want to be part of 2% of successful traders, you've got to do something extraordinary. That's when the reality check hits. Mastery in trading is a continuous journey that demands you show up, even when life throws obstacles your way. In today's episode, we will explore why trading doesn't take breaks and how you can stay committed to the work, no matter the challenges. If you are wondering why you haven't reached your goals yet, this episode is for you. You are listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. I am your host, Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach and a seasoned day trader with over a decade of experience. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of psychology and the human element of trading. We take a deep dive into different perspectives to inspire you and help you navigate the emotional ups and downs of trading with self-compassion and confidence. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, this podcast is your trusted companion providing support on your trading journey. Get ready to boost your confidence and unlock the secrets to mastering your mindset for success. Welcome to episode 58, the reality check every trader needs. Trading never takes a break. Hi, Greg. Welcome back. Great to have you here.
Hi, Agnieszka. Hi, everybody. Fantastic to be back chatting with you guys. Hopefully, it's going to be an amazing episode for everybody.
Yes, I'm very excited about this one because I know that this topic actually plays a huge role in not just achieving success, but for everyone in their life. It has to do with expectations. It has to do with frustration that many traders experience about why am I not there yet? I have all these expectations. I have all these big dreams and I am still struggling. Why is that? Right?
Yeah.
A lot of times what you see is that when you get into trading, you have this misconception that when you achieve success, that's where you can relax and take vacation. The biggest misconception is that success is something down the road and that one day you achieve that success, then you can simply be the successful trader that you want to be.
Yeah. You get to wear the badge.
Yeah, but isn't that like the biggest myth that you have encountered in trading?
It's incredible the amount of people that, once they decide that they've made, enough successful trades, whatever that is, then they just get to wear that badge or, hang that banner to say that they're successful. That is just simply 100% not the truth, because your success will only be predicated on the amount of time, effort, and energy that you consistently put into your success. So if you decide to bail because you've made 10 positive trades in this week and you consider yourself successful, there's a very high likelihood that if you take the rest of the week off, then next week you're probably going to have 10 failing trades.
It's really not taking the time off from trading, but from doing the work that is required for you to trade well.
You have to do it consistently. Even in your downtime when you're done trading, and if you're going to trade for 3 hours out of the day, great. You still need to put in effort, time, and energy into going back over what you traded, why you traded it, what your mindset was, what your thought process was, what your traded journal looks like, why you chose that setup, and putting in the notes in it because this is great trade because I traded at this and my mindset was this and this is why I did it. All of that work and effort is the things that compile success. And when you start to diminish those or you start to throw those by the wayside, your success is going to be like an anchor and just travel down with it.
And the part of trading well, maybe that definition of trading well is also not very clear for for everyone that gets into trading, like what does that even mean, trading well? Because for most people, trading well is making money.
Hmm.
So if I made money, that means it was a good trade. But
Yeah.
that's not entirely the truth. Well, that's actually not the truth at all, because trading well has to do with your capability to execute your plan, to keep your emotions in
Hmm.
check, to make sure that you can
Hmm.
withstand the stress and that you can stay focused regardless of what is going on in the market, what is going on around you at the moment when you are trading, and what is going on in your life in general,
Yeah.
so that you can put a full focus on the activity that you are doing. And trading profitably does not necessarily comes from the fact that you are trading well, because sometimes you might be lucky, right? And then you
Hmm.
say, but look, I made money, which
Yeah.
is unfortunate, right?
100%. Yes.
So what is for you trading well? And have you, like, when you got into trading, did you had an idea? Like if someone said, are you trading well? Did someone even ask you that? Or was it more like, are you making money?
No, my when I first began trading, my mentor and I had sat together for a few months before I ended up really pulling the trigger. And I was paper trading and that kind of thing, so I wasn't really considering that as trading because it was more like a training ground for me. So when I really started to trade, and we started to pair back, so I would go back, like once a week, and then I'd go back once every 2 weeks. And when we would go back and sit down and look at things, and he would go, "What did you learn?"
Mm.
And he never asked, "Did you trade successful? Did you win? Are you making money?" Any of that. He would always start with, "What did you learn?" And then we would sit down and I would talk it through, and he'd go, "Okay, so you traded positive and you made some trades here that were good and made some trades here that were bad." So then we go into the technical aspect of figuring out, why I was losing in certain sum, why I was winning in certain sum, but never in a million years would he even consider trading as just purely winning. It is always learning. And that's one of the more important aspects that I took from him and his mentorship and guidance to be able to understand that winning is amazing. It's great. It feels wonderful when you can cash out and see your profits grow. That's awesome. It feels great. And the negative side when you take a trading loss, it sucks. But both of those are the equal opportunity to learn. And that's what he's always instilled in me. So it was never always about winning or being positive in a trade. It was always about learning.
That's fantastic approach, because when you think about defining your progress in terms of did you win or did you lose, it suddenly becomes very personal,
Hmm.
and it's almost impossible to get yourself out of that equation and actually learn something from it, so that you can progress, so that you can move forward and actually learn from your mistakes, right? Because
Yeah.
you
God, yeah.
will simply say, oh, I lost, I'm a loser, or oh, I lost, I don't want to even look at that.
Yeah.
But the loss is only a loss if you haven't taken the value out of the money you paid.
Hmm.
So if you have already lost money on a trade, at least get something out of it. And the thing you can get out of it is a lesson. Like
100%.
what did I do that I took a loss? And maybe I didn't do anything, maybe it just simply didn't work. And why didn't it work? Looking at those setups, looking at the charts, at your actions that you have executed while you were watching the chart,
Hmm.
there is so much value in that, that when you start writing those things down after you took a trade, you will realize that it wasn't even a loss anymore, because you have got so much value for that,
Oh, yeah.
that it was all worth it, right?
Oh, God, yeah. I just had an example yesterday where I sat down with a client of mine and we had talked about a bunch of different things, and he's trying to pivot out of what he's currently doing into something else. So I've been helping him transition into a different field. And a certain aspect that he wanted to get into, I made a suggestion and I said, if you wanted to get into this side of what you want to go into, here's a quick example of if you pay $50, you can get this. And that will give you the opportunity for you to play around in that sandbox and do, see if you really like it, move around things, do a whole bunch of different aspects and really get a feel for it. I said, and I want you to reframe the way that you think about this. That $50 that you're going to spend on this platform is going to give you the answer. It may not be the answer you're thinking of, but it'll give you the answer of you want to do this, or it will give you the answer you don't want to do this. And it is equal value on each. So every time you enter into a trade and you put your money into that trade, you will get an answer, period. It is going to be an answer of what you did right or an answer of what you did wrong. And both are equally valuable to every single day that you put in the time, effort, and energy into improve your trading. And without them, you won't get better.
Absolutely. And when you said you want to do this or you don't want to do this actually brought some conversation that I had with someone who was already in trading. And then after a certain period, we started working together. There was this awareness that came in, what it actually means to trade for a living. What does it mean to be a day trader? And a lot of times when you have been in trading and you have lost a lot of money, there is this urge and that pressure of like, I cannot make that decision anymore right now to decide whether I want to do this. Just realizing that sometimes this might be the best decisions you can make. When you got into trading and you didn't know what it requires, you just got into it thinking, I'm just going to press some buttons and make some money. But pressing buttons is really 10, maybe 15% of the work, right? The rest is the real work. If you spend the time that you spend on trading, let's say, several hours, just see how much time you are actually spending on pressing the buttons, whether it's more than 15% max, and what is it that you do with the rest of the time. It's like being a professional athlete, right? They do not constantly compete. Most of the time that they spend is on preparing, on not just preparing for that particular thing they're doing, but everything around it, right? It's not like if they're runners, they run the whole day. No, it's about diet, it's about rest, it's about mental, it's even about strategy, right? Talking about with your coach, and there is so much more work into it. So once you get into trading and you're not realizing what it means for you and for your life to become successful, and then it hits you and you think,
yes,
holy crap. Now you really have the moment where you need to ask yourself, do I want to do this? There is always that moment where you can change the decision. And I'm not trying to talk anyone out of trading, but that decision that you make consciously, knowing what it takes to be successful, defines your motivation and your commitment to your success.
Agreed.
If you are in there just thinking, yeah, but I need to make my money back, I cannot just stop now, and this is your only motivation to make it work, and you are not putting the effort that it takes just because you're only thinking about money, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get through through the work that you need to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the work that you guys are all going to put in consistently, the result will be reflective of the amount of time and effort and energy that you've put into it. And that's just in trading, period, because I mean, one of my favorite stories of listening to Michael Phelps was how good he became. I'm pretty sure it was 2 straight years. He never took one single day out of the pool. He got in the pool every single day, every Saturday, every Sunday, every holiday, every single time he got in the pool. That's why he beat everybody, because even on days he didn't want to do it, even on days that, he needed to go and sleep differently and eat differently and train differently and adjust his schedule consistently, he got to where he was because he never took vacations. He never took the time off. That doesn't mean I need you to take 24 hours a day. It just means I need you to put in the effort on the days that you don't want to put in that effort.
Right.
Because the minute you just decide to sail off and say, I'm going to take whatever time frame off of this, you're diminishing the amount of returns that you'll get because it's completely up to you and your effort.
Right. And it's the serious effort. It's the commitment. It's your engagement. I remember when I was taking my boot camp in 2014 to learn how to trade. Part of the boot camp was to write your trading plan. I did put in the effort, but it was sort of like I have to write a trading plan. And at that time, I didn't even totally understood why I need to write it. Like I knew it was important. Yes, it's a business
Oh, yeah.
plan. So I wrote my trading plan, but I remember that I was provided with examples of other trading plans, which were like 30 pages long and like very detailed. And I felt my own resistance to say, I'm not going to do that. It's like, come on, this is a little bit crazy. So I tick off the
Yeah.
boxes. I wrote the plan and then I put it in a drawer and never looked at that. Years later, when I
Mhm.
realized how much effort it actually takes to become successful and what work it requires, I wrote my plan
Mhm.
for myself with a very different approach. And I have to say that I remember those other
Mhm.
examples, and now my plan looked like that, more like that than any other time, because I realized how important it is for me to understand what is it that I am doing and how am I going to achieve that goal. So I really took it so much more seriously and thought about it. What if I had to write a business plan, if I like apply for a loan for my business, for example, right? Like what kind of plan would I deliver to a bank so that they would take me seriously, right? And I can tell you, if I would have delivered them the first one, I would definitely not get a loan, right? They would not even treat me as a serious person to talk to. So that level of commitment, I think that taking things really serious and understanding that this is about you, your success, and the more you put in, the quicker and the bigger it can become for you. Do you have any examples of like putting the effort? I think you actually have a great example, very recent example, right?
I do. I do have an example that I can share with everybody, and making sure that no matter the outcome, you consistently put in your effort. I just got a few days ago, I just got the news that I've been accepted to do a TEDx here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Um,
That's so fantastic. Congratulations.
thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you. I can't wait to see it, guys. So we will definitely keep you posted when that's gonna be live.
Thank you. Yeah, the TEDx it was a process that required me to consistently put in the time and effort and energy and rewrites and writing out a script and writing out an outline and then detailing the each paragraph that I was going to speak about, the example that I would speak about, and then the time frame that it would take for me to talk about that subject in that paragraph. And I had to equal 10 minutes of that speech. So the more I kept writing out the script, the more I'd have to narrow down what I was capable of doing. And then I wrote out the entire outline, and then I would narrow down the outline of what I was capable of doing. And then I realized that I can't put that much in that topic because that's a little too much for me to speak about in the X amount of time frame. So I would have to shift it and I'd have to morph it. And it really helped me get more precise and concise about what I was going to choose to share with the world, how I was going to choose to share my story, my voice, and what I've learned, and the methodology that I was going to go about telling that story in the time frame that I need to commit to be able to adequately get across a message that hopefully leaves an impact behind, that everyone will be able to live a lighter, happier, easier life because they'll better understand themselves as well as the people that they're going to be around.
That's so fantastic.
And when you put in that type of effort, and that this is over a year and a half that I've been doing this. So the more that you continue to push toward your goal and the more that you choose to decide to bring your energy and bring your time and your effort into focus, just the same way that you chose to rewrite your trading strategy, the same way that I had to rewrite and write and edit my TEDx to be able to get it to a point that it would be accepted by a platform that is pretty massive. And hopefully, I'll be able to deliver the speech that we'll leave a positive pieces of information behind for everybody to hopefully be a little bit better.
I'm sure, and I cannot wait for that. I actually would like to ask a follow-up question on that because I know that you
Sure.
have been in contact with someone when you had to do all the rewriting, right? And digging in
Yes.
deeper. And a lot of times when we are ending up in that process, there is a sort of a resistance, right? That's coming up. Can you tell me, can
Oh
you tell
yeah.
us a little bit more about that resistance? Like
Yeah.
when you thought, okay, this is my topic, this is perfect, right? Because you submit something, you're like, this is it. And then someone comes back and say, yeah,
Yep.
can you do this? Can you do that? Was there any resistance that was coming up, and how did you handle that?
Oh, 1,000,000%. My original topic was way too vague. And when I went in to do the submission, I tried to submit it to giving it a grander topic idea so that I had more of an opportunity for me to be successful and more for an opportunity for me to be accepted. And then I figured, oh, okay, well, if I just keep it super general, then I'll probably be able to just narrow it down. And that was not the case because I got rejected many times before. And once I started through this process and I was able to actually engage with one of the event coordinators, this was a process where I was like, oh my God, okay, so I can't just go into this with an idea. I need to go into this with an idea. I need to go into this with a concept. I need to go into idea with a plan. And then I need to lay this out step by step, minute by minute, word by word, how I'm going to deliver this speech. And the, I probably had north of 20 email exchanges and rewrites and edits with someone from inside the organization to help me get to a place that I was comfortable being like, this is my final submission, extending my topic headline to create it to be generic enough to draw people in with a subheading of very precise in what you're going to get out of that topic. So that was a definite switch on how I needed to program how I wanted to work this whole thing through. And that is a prime example of exactly why you would use someone like Agnieszka to be able to help you be that voice behind you to get you to go, I'm not just going to trade. I'm going to trade this way. Here's how I'm going to trade. Here's why I'm going to trade. And here's the plan that I'm going to institute consistently to get me to the point where you have this type of confidence now to be able to say, yeah, I'm a successful trader. In the same way that I get to say, yes, I am now going to be a TEDx speaker and I have a TED talk, that only comes from time, effort, and energy with consistent coaching and help from someone that can put you on the right direction.
I really love that you brought it back to trading because this is exactly what I wanted to say. That I really hope that everyone who's listening, that you can hear that the story, what Greg was saying, is actually about trading too. It's not just about
Mm-hmm.
presentation, but it is going from more general to much more detail to really clarify
Mm-hmm.
for yourself what is it that you are doing every day. If you are sitting in front of your charts and you say, I'm just sitting here, see what happens, that is too general. This is just
Mm-hmm.
not detailed enough for you to take action, because the more specific you are on what is it that you are looking for, what is it that you need to see in order to even move your finger to click the button to decide whether something is worth your time and effort and money, this requires you to spend some time to do some thinking, to do some research, and take some failures. Like Greg, you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned you applied many times and you failed, right? But you didn't give up.
And just to give you guys a heads up, I'm over a year and a half of applying, and I got one of 12 slots out of 400. So you're up against a lot of competition in TEDx. You are up against the same amount of competition, exponentially even more in trading in order to be successful at what you're choosing to do. And don't let the odds be
Yeah.
that, giant that's, casting a shadow over you. You can do it. I know you can do it. You just have to be able to consistently put in your time, effort, and energy to be able to get to the right position and use a mentor, use a coach, use a trading plan to get you to be one of the 12 slots out of the 400.
you have to do something more extraordinary than everyone else is doing, because you want to be in that top
Yes.
2%, right? You want to be in that elite. So you cannot just do
Hmm.
what everyone else is doing. So you will hear probably a lot of people saying, yeah, it will take you about 2 years. Don't even take that for granted. 2 years based on what? Based on what everyone
Yeah.
else is doing. Maybe it will take you 5 years. It depends on what effort you're putting in. And then
Hmm.
do you want to be that statistic of the general, of the average, of the 95%, then yes, listen to the advice
Hmm.
that everyone is saying, and take that as your belief, because there's so many different statements that are taken as beliefs that you are rehashing in your head that are stopping you
Hmm.
from actually taking the right action and get out of that box of limitations. You have to get out of the box that you think is possible. The best way to do that is to forget everything you know
Hmm.
and have every single conception that is most likely misconception about trading and how to achieve success in trading. All the 1000,
Hmm.
1 million keys to success that are posted every day on Twitter. Just forget all that and focus on how are you going to
Yeah.
achieve your success.
Yeah. It's you. Yeah. It will all be down to you, no matter how much you choose to blame others or point the finger at others or read other things. We can sit here and tell you a million different ways to do a million different things. And hopefully some of them help, maybe some of them won't help. But at the end of the day, you take the time and effort. You don't take vacations, you don't take time off, and you don't slack. And I guarantee you, you will get the result that you're searching for. If you just continually get the right mentor, find the right people, find the right leadership, and continually to take your mistakes, fail, consistently fail. You'll learn more at failing than you ever will at anything else in the world. And trading will be an everyday concept that can come to life for you if you just take the time and effort to do it.
Yeah, and that's a kind of hard pill to swallow, right?
It is.
Because most traders want to get rid of their 9 to 5 job, and then they end up in something that requires you to be 24/7,
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of thinking about how am I going to make sure that tomorrow I'm going to perform well.
Hmm.
You have to think about how is my Sunday going to look like so that Monday I'm fresh and ready to execute my plan.
Yeah.
So probably you will have to make a plan sometime between Friday and Monday,
Yeah.
which is the weekend, right? And life will always come in between. Your
Yeah.
personal life will always create some interruptions. So that's another thing that you got to keep in mind. You cannot just call off like you would call your human resources or your boss and say, hey, I'm not showing up today because whatever the reason is, right?
Yeah.
You can simply skip trading that day because you think, okay, you know what, my head is not in the right place. But you have to keep up your routine because you are always creating habits. You are always establishing habits, whether these are your workout habits, your mental habits, how you deal with pressures, the habits that your body establishes to deal with stress. This is just ongoing thing.
It's absolutely no different. It is it's a consistent effort to be able to get to a place that you want to be at. And I have said many times to people that have even thought about doing this, and they always say, well, what do you do after 4:30? Because after 4 o'clock it's already done. So by 4:30 you should be done for the day. I'm like, no. The answer is no. And I had actually started to use, even this is a small tip that I used to use. You do not have to do this, and by no means, which way, shape, or form am I telling you to trade like this. I'm just telling you that even in downtimes when I wasn't trading, like on weekends or something like that, I started reading crypto charts because they are consistent. They are always moving, always moving. So they're open 24/7. You can get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and read a chart. You can get up at whenever time frame and read a chart. I'm not telling you to trade it, but I am telling you that is exposure to charts. It's exposure to volatility. It's exposure to volume. It's exposure to trend lines and support resistance. They move a lot differently and a lot quicker than regular
Right.
markets do. But if you still feel as though on the weekend you can't jump in and trade anything because you feel like that's what you need to do, that doesn't mean there's not an opportunity for you to learn. That still means you
Right.
can take the time and effort to look at a chart, not trade it, look at a chart in a crypto world and say, okay, here's what I think I might be able to do. And write that down like as if you traded it.
Totally. So you also create that, build that more resilience, especially if you watch it and you know you're like, okay, I'm not going to be trading, right? Just learning.
Yeah.
So resilience to external pressure. And
Mm-hmm.
when we speak about life interruptions, there could be some external events that are much bigger that are really affecting you, your mood, and your overall outlook on life. And there might
Mm-hmm.
be, some other things like maybe your partner is not entirely supporting what you're doing, which happens a lot, especially
Mm-hmm.
if you have been losing for a while. Your life partner might feel like you have a problem and you got to solve that
Mm-hmm.
problem because it's affecting your life and your family life. Maybe you are stepping away from your trading desk, you come to a dinner table, and then you are kind of angry or frustrated, and it shows. So
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot to say about learning how do you leave your trading, how do you create that barrier between your personal life and your trading life? How can you do that
Mm-hmm.
physically, mentally, so that it does not lead to your other areas of your life? Because that will also impact your performance, right? Like expectation.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. All the external factors that go a part of it, that are a part of your life, that's family, friends, significant others, whatever it may be, pets. I mean, all of those things all come into a part of what you do every day in your life. And they all will have an effect in one way, shape, or form in your
Yeah.
trading.
And sometimes you might not want to acknowledge that, right? Like from
Yeah.
experience, I mean, I have been trading now for 15 years, and I know by now, I know that even if the event doesn't seem to affect me too much, I mean, like for example, moving, if you have known me for a while, you know that I move on a regular basis. And I always know that even though I like it, I'm excited about it, it will bring my routine completely upside down, right? Because
Yes.
I won't be able to keep up my routine while I'm packing boxes and, taking down furniture and then moving. And then there's this new
Yeah.
place. And so there are things in your life that will just shake your routine. It doesn't have to shake you mentally and like completely take you, into mode where you cannot control your emotions or whatever, but just simple
Yeah.
things, just realizing that when you have those events in life, that you need something to hold on to bring that balance. And for me personally, that's my routine. My routine is always what brings me back to the place where I feel grounded. So I make sure that I try to keep my routine as much as I can through even my vacation. If I go on vacation, I'm not just dropping everything I do. Like I still do yoga. I
Mhm.
might not do it exactly the same
Yeah.
way as I do at home because you're in a hotel and you have to look for a place where to do yoga. And a funny story, when I went to Hawaii 2 years ago, we completely did not realize that the weather pattern in Hawaii is very different. Like in Florida, we have rains in
Hmm.
the summer in the afternoon. So we thought, you know what, we will just get up early and then we will go.
Yeah.
And there's this beautiful field of grass. We'll just put our yoga mats just in front of the oceans. It's going to be beautiful. The yoga in the morning, completely quiet. And then we walk out there and it appeared that the rain was coming just right during the night. So we literally like we step on the grass and we like fell into the water standing on the grass. I'm like, okay, so this is not gonna work. This is not how we can do it. No yoga in the morning.
Okay. We can pivot.
We'll pivot, but we still did yoga every day. So you got to have the flexibility, but remember that you are used to something and you want to keep your routines throughout whatever is coming your way. When you have a tough situation mentally, maybe you have a business and it's not going well, maybe you had something with your partner, that's not a reason to skip your meditation, because your meditation is going to bring you back to equanimity and give you more insights into how you can solve the situation or how you can handle the situation. When you skip it, you're just going to overthink and make it things worse.
Yeah, you're just going to compound the mess that you're in. When you skip over the routines that get you to a cool, comfortable, and calm state, you're then doubling down on the chaotic state or the confrontational or confusion state that you're currently in without going back to the things that bring you back to your own equilibrium.
Totally.
So those choices are yours. And this still boils down to the same exact theme that we have been talking about in one way, shape, or form. It is time, effort, and energy into the thing that you want to accomplish.
Right. There is no result without effort. And I think that's really the main message. And I really hope that when you listen to this, you really hear it, because you can listen to it and not like, yeah. But do you really hear it? And do you really acknowledge? And are you committed to put the effort that it takes to get the results that you want? Because if you are not, then most likely you feel frustrated. And when you feel frustrated, then most likely this is the reason you are not putting the effort in that it takes to get the results you want. Frustration is not really the answer. The answer is to look what effort I need to put into my process, into my routines, into what is it that I can do to improve my results. And if you don't know, research it. I mean, these days, really, there is no excuse to say, yeah, but I didn't know what to do. Really? I mean, just Google it. Just talk to ChatGPT. You can use it to do so many different things. So if you really don't know how to improve your process or strategy, and you say, you know what, I don't want to work with coach, which might be part of your resistance, at least do your own research. Do something, because just sitting there and thinking, oh, why am I not there yet? First of all, where?
Where is where? I mean, for you, you have to define it. And I can tell you that from one of the best quotes that I've ever heard, my favorite quote of all time is, "You've never seen a U-Haul attached to a hearse." And that gives you the wherewithal to be able to understand you need to stay present, and everything that you're doing is finite. So make sure that you're putting in the effort to make sure that what you're doing is worthwhile to you, because you'll never see a U-Haul attached to a hearse, no matter what it is, your problems, your material aspects, you'll never take them with you. And the other one is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. So no matter what it is you do, you will always beat the talented person if you put in more work.
And the right work, right? Because with trading, I can hear already some people saying, yeah, but I am working really hard. And that's different thing, right?
Very different thing. Yeah, you can work hard and just continue to trade every single day and just trade and think you're working hard. That's not hard working. Like, you need to be able to encompass everything that goes along with it. That is figuring out your trading plan, why you're going to trade, when you're going to trade, how you're going to trade, what market you're going to trade, what type of trader you even want to be. Is it a scalp? Is it a day? Is it a swing? All of those aspects, you need to have a plan in place. And if you have that plan and you put in the hard work will beat talent when talent doesn't work hard.
That's so well said. And working hard, maybe we can reframe it and say, don't work hard, but work smart, right? Put your effort and time into the right things that okay, those things are actually going to bring me to the place where I want to be. And if you don't know what those are, the best way to start finding out what it is to look at what things are you doing right now that are not working, and do less of those.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And that's the smart. That's the smart and hard right there. Those are the two aspects. And sometimes it's difficult to shift your perspective into only viewing what you're doing right and taking it as wins. Sometimes it's the hard and smart work to go, what am I doing wrong and how do I improve it or get rid of it?
For me, a huge insight and actually improvement came when I was tracking my stats in an online journal, and I was using TraderSync. was when I saw that the most of my
Mm.
losses were coming in the afternoon. I would literally trade morning really good, and then I would give back my profits in the afternoon. And this was for me like this light bulb. It was like, oh my God, why am I even there? I did not try to, oh, you know what? Then I have to trade better in the afternoon. I have to force myself. I was
Yeah,
like, well, then I'm just not gonna trade in the afternoon. Period.
yeah,
And that made such a huge difference. So my profit factor went up significantly because I was just simply taking less losses. I wasn't giving my profits away just by simply deciding, okay, this is what's happening. I don't have to change anything in my process per se, like how I trade. I just have to change the process when I trade.
yeah,
I would have never known that if I did not look at my numbers, look at the times I trade, how I trade, because
yeah,
we always have a very different perception of what we are doing than when we actually look at the numbers and the numbers show us what we are doing. Like we are stuck with our perception, and when we generalize often,
oh yeah,
like when things are not going well, we often think, oh, everything is wrong, right? And then when you start digging into details, it's like, okay, so what is really wrong is just those two things. But you see, the feeling is like everything is going wrong. No, not everything is going wrong. So when you take a loss, just look what went wrong and don't say, oh, I did everything wrong.
yeah. It's the same thing, and but that also applies to even going back over what you were doing over the previous week. I mean,
Right.
that is smart, hard work and difficult at times, but still, there's as long as you continue to make sure that the effort you're putting in is getting back the results that you need, then you will find success. And however you just choose to define that, if it's one trade a day, great, then that's success to you. If it's 50 trades a day, great, that's success to you. But neither one of those will come without time and effort.
And just to
Either
bring
one.
a little bit light into your future as a trader, it's not all just hard work and struggling and putting the effort and only working. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there is time where you can relax when you are a successful trader. But the point is that you have to do the work first in order to be able even to say to yourself, and now I am taking the time off, and now I am disconnecting so that I can sit on the beach and not think about trading. Because that freedom that you see on those beautiful pictures, posted and luring you into trading, this freedom is in your mind. And you can only achieve that freedom in your mind when you do the work, when you do your mindset work, when you know what you're doing, when you have the confidence, and when you are choosing intentionally when you are in the market and not letting the market make you leave when you blow up the account, or let the market decide when you are trading. Like, oh, yeah, but I'm here because charts are moving. Yes, they're moving. They're always moving. Do you have the resilience to say the charts are moving and I am going out because I want to enjoy my day, the rest of my day or my whole day or even my whole week, right? I'm going on vacation. I'm not going to be trading on vacation. This type of freedom that you are looking for is in your mind, and you cannot achieve that if you don't do the work that it takes.
No, oh, agreed. Yeah. I mean, because the only way that you're ever going to be at anything in life, trading included, the only way you're ever going to be able to take time away from it and feel comfortable taking time away from it is when you have the confidence knowing that when you go back to it, you have the process, you have the thought process, you have everything that goes along with it, your plan, your strategy to be able to execute at a level that makes you feel as though you are successful. And that will only ever come from the work that you put into it. So the vacations that everyone lures you into, those are only going to be there after whatever version of hard work and smart work fits your profile. Some people take faster learning curves, some people have slower learning curves. And both of those are equally valuable in the hard work and smartness that you decide to put into it.
Absolutely. And always just compare yourself to yourself to avoid your
Yes.
ego coming in between. So I would encourage you guys to rethink your approach to your trading and commit to consistent effort, because everyone is after consistent results, but those results are not coming without building consistency. And if you would like some help with that, you can go to aheadcoach.com and download a free tool that will help you create good trading habits. It's a habit tracker, Trader's Good Habit Tracker. It's completely free and you can get it anytime and already start building new habits that will help you to create those routines to give you the results that you want.
I highly recommend you guys do it.
Any final advice, Greg? Any final word?
Yeah, I would say that from now my newfound, sense of accomplishment in TEDx, I can only tell you from experience that the more that you choose to focus on a goal and the harder you decide to work at it and the smarter you decide to work at it, that level of success and accomplishment is second to none. So when you're able to feel that, that's when you can finally say, I made it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So choose your goal, make a plan, and then make your plan your goal.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Greg, for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for listening. If you like this episode, please give us a review on a platform of your choice where you are listening. And we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. If you are enjoying my show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tell me what you like about it. Thanks to you, more traders will be able to find me and together we'll make a bigger impact. So thank you so much. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. And make sure to also check some of the previous shows. Thank you again for tuning in. This is Agnieszka Wood from Ahead Coach. Bye for now.